What's up guys, it's Endymion, and today I want to go over what was announced today by FromSoftware with an interview focused around Hidetaka Miyazaki himself, the director of Elden Ring as well as Dark Souls and Bloodborne. This information comes from a few sources, but I'll be citing Gematsu and Game Informer mostly for this video. The news states that FromSoftware is currently deep in development on a couple of games and are apparently even in the final stages of development on one particular mystery title. The interviewer said, and I quote, "When we interviewed you about Sekiro Shadows Die Twice in 2018, you said there were 3.5 development lines underway, 2 of them unannounced. Elden Ring ended up one of the announced titles, but is the other one still in development?" To which Miyazaki says, quote, "Yes, development is currently in the final stages." Ooh. This mystery game is likely another entry in the long-running Armored Core series, which is a franchise about giant mechs fighting each other in open warfare. Back in the beginning of 2022, Polygon posted an article about a supposed leak regarding this soon-to-be-announced Armored Core game. According to a leaker who allegedly saw gameplay of this new game, Polygon said, and I quote, "According to that poster, the survey included details about the new Armored Core setting and story which center around an unknown substance called melange that could dramatically advance human society. A supposed story description reads, in the past, this substance caused a cosmic catastrophe on planet Bashtar that engulfed the surrounding star systems and eventually its very existence was lost. Decades later, the melange reaction was confirmed again on planet Bashtar. In search of the unknown substance that should have been lost, various speculations began to swirl. Various parties are getting involved: the government, corporations, cultists, and known mercenaries. The protagonist is one of them." The leaker goes on to say that the game is set upon this planet and features a large dynamic world that the player, who's one of these mercenaries, is able to explore in their own highly customizable mech, and gameplay is primarily a dance between melee combat with blades and mid to long range gun battles as well. Apart from this, the leaker also showed supposed screenshots of the game showcasing a dystopian apocalyptic world full of chaos and death, which I mean sounds like something right up from Software's alley. Likely the game will be announced at this year's Game Awards or Tokyo Game Show, which are both in the fall of 2022. Anyway, besides Armored Core, Miyazaki does go on to confirm that there are DLCs in the works for Elden Ring and that players will have much more to look forward to in the future. Miyazaki's exact words are, and I quote, "First off, we're going to continue releasing updates for Elden Ring, and as I've mentioned before, we're developing several titles by directors other than myself in addition to the title that I'm directing. But we're not at the stage where I can share any details yet. My apologies, but please give us a little more time." What's more interesting than the Elden Ring DLC and the supposed Armored Core revival is that Miyazaki confirms he's also head deep into directing his next game. He says, and I quote, again, man, I'm quoting a lot in this video, but I quote, "I'm already working on my next title as a director, so I'd like to avoid giving too much away there in the mid to long term. I would like to work on a more abstract fantasy than anything we've done in the past." This abstract fantasy theme might have already been hinted at in the past because it's already been announced that fantasy author Brandon Sanderson, who's known for his Mistborn series as well as helping finish the Wheel of Time books, has apparently been contacted by FromSoftware in collaborating on a future game. The Mistborn series is apparently, since I've never read it, was inspired by Sanderson reading Harry Potter and wanting to create a world where darkness prevailed over the light and everything basically went to hell. And when looking at the cover of the book, it has that abstract high fantasy aesthetic that Miyazaki has hinted at when it comes to what his next directorial game will be about. So of course I can't confirm that this is indeed the Sanderson inspired FromSoftware project or if it's another author or something entirely, but if anything, Elden Ring does help shift FromSoftware already from a more dark and oppressive atmosphere like Dark Souls to something more epic and I guess high fantasy already. So if I were to take all of this information and try to make sense of it, it would be a few things. Number one, we're getting DLC for Elden Ring 100%. It's probably going to be about Miquella or maybe some other outer god like the Formless Mother or the Cosmos. That would be my guess. That will likely be announced either this fall or early next year. Secondly, we're getting an Armored Core game for sure. Now, whether this game will be more action-oriented like Sekiro and be mission-based like previous Armored Core games, I can't say, but if FromSoftware wants to make an Armored Core Souls-like where everything is scaled up to gigantic proportions, I'm all for that. Ooh, now that I'm theorizing, what if we could jump out of our mech to survey caves or smaller structures, and the game goes more Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and then we can jump into our mech and fight bigger stuff too. Ooh, okay. I'm all for it now, hell yeah. And third, we have some sort of high fantasy game on the horizon, which could be more abstract and weird and whimsical, which again, I'm all for. If Elden Ring is the result of George R.R. Martin's collaboration, I'm all for what a Mistborn-inspired FromSoftware game looks like too, not to mention Mistborn's author is a massive FromSoftware fan to begin with. And finally, Miyazaki has confirmed that due to Elden Ring's success, the company will be expanded upon greatly with larger teams leading to more efficient work pipelines, which in turn allows FromSoftware to create more titles simultaneously in the future. Remember that Sekiro and Elden Ring were developed alongside one another, so if we could get even more games of that quality and more frequently, I mean, come on, that would be amazing. Miyazaki was also asked about a potential Elden Ring 2, to which he didn't rule it out entirely, but would also like to work on new IP instead of relying on older franchises, which is wild because most game companies just do what works, but hey, that's what makes FromSoftware who they are, and I applaud them for it. And to finish, due to the success of Elden Ring, FromSoftware will be increasing the salaries of all their mid to low level employees as well, which can only be a good thing in furthering the success and work atmosphere of the developer as well. Things are looking great for FromSoftware and the future is bright for them. I love to see it and I can't wait to see what they do next. But anyway, what do you guys think of all this information? Yes to Armored Core, Elden Ring DLC, a high fantasy Souls-like? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to give my life meaning, share the video to help the channel, and like because the algorithm demands it and it helps videos like this be seen. Thanks to my patrons as always for their continued support, and I'm Endymion. I gotta go work my real life job now. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.